All right, everybody, we are live right now on this fine Friday afternoon. And right now it is raining in Colorado, but hopefully it's nice where you guys are. So to the people that are watching right now, please let me know who you are, where you're from, and, we'll get into this at the moment. So we got Jameson, Griffith, and Lazy Abram already commenting. They've been on literally every single live, I think, in the last five, six, 7 lives. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for the support. And today, I just have a little bit of a game plan of showing you guys my newest eBay account that I've showed over the last 2 lives. I believe it hit over 10,000 yesterday, and that's when I made the thumbnail for this live. But at the moment, I believe it's at 1,100 and 11,500. So it is doing pretty well. I hit 1,000 in sales already today with literally 2 orders. I sold one order with 2 items in it. It was a pretty expensive order. It was like $600. It was 2 $300 items. And then another one that was like $250. So what I'm doing right now is pretty much just selling higher ticket items. I still only have, I had 126 items up on the store, but now it's 127 because one person said they really liked one of my items and wanted a different version of it. So I just listed that today. So that's the only item I've actually listed in the last probably 10, 11 days. So we got 22 people right now watching. Please, again, like I said, let me know who you are and we'll get into this. So we got Kareem AC says, what's up from LA. We got Jason O'Neill from Florida. And Jeremiah from Arizona, and Asin, I don't know how to pronounce that, from Bulgaria. That's awesome. Jeremiah's a lurker. Don't worry. I'm a lurker on a lot of channels. It's perfectly fine to do so. So, today I really didn't have very much planned besides explaining the new store. I spent all day actually at the bank today creating another business bank account, and I've been pretty busy in the last week. We onboarded a lot of people into the course, so that's taken up a lot of time. I haven't launched a new YouTube video, so I'm sure you guys have some questions. I want to answer all of your questions, so please don't hesitate to ask them. And yeah, besides that, I also spent some time this week. I actually put in an offer on a new rental property and that got accepted. So we got a bunch of things going on in the background that's not just related to eBay dropshipping. This store that I'm running right now is pretty much brand new. Not brand new. It is brand new, but it's pretty much completely automated by my virtual assistants at the moment. I've taught them everything over the last couple years and really over the last 6 months retailered what they were doing to manual eBay dropshipping, and they've been running my store pretty much consistently. And I've also been working on for you guys, which I'm not sure if any of you guys watching right now are interested, but I'm sure some people that do watch this as it's a replayed are interested. And we have been working on our item sourcing service for you guys. For whoever's interested, it's actually going to be pretty cheap, I believe. It's going to be about $10 a month for, we have not come to a certain amount of items or a specific amount of items yet. But we have been working on it. My VAs have been sourcing items in the background over the last week or so for this service. And it's going to be around, I believe it's going to be 20 something items a month for about $10. And then we can, go up from there, maybe $15 for 30, 35 or something like that. We're going to have a tier based price structure to that. So let me know if any of you guys are interested in that. I know Koyomo just said he's interested. If anybody else is interested in that, I would just love to hear from you guys about that. So we got Ty VL here. He says, what's up? Oh, Mark's here. What's up, dude? How's it going? No BS dropshipping. Mark's the man. Go check out his channel. 8 Mode says, what's up, Tom? Ty's from the Virgin Islands. Awesome. Also, Gail's from the Virgin Islands as well. And what is your pricing strategy? Ass. I'm not really sure what pricing strategy you're talking about for my items. My pricing strategy is literally, I don't like to dynamically price my items versus my competition, because that means that you're going to have to be checking your competition nonstop. Sure, if the item sells a lot and it's a really, really good seller, you might as well go check it every once in a while and adjust the price accordingly. But honestly, if the item is just a regular item you're listing up there, I just listed at a solid profit percentage, usually 8 to 10% front end when I'm first getting started. And then with a certain amount of promoted listing fees from there, I lower the promoted listing fees over time. So that's pretty much what I do for that. Pretty soon you're going to be talking eCom Tom public with an IPO. Hey, you put enough effort into it and you put enough people in the right spots and you have enough people working for you guys, for us, anybody, for your team moving in the right proper direction, then, you grow fast. And that's pretty much what we've been doing for the last year and a half. Thank you very much though, Noah. And 8 Mode says, how do you get a limit increase from eBay without being flagged as a retail arbitrage drop shipper? It's pretty easy. I actually do have a YouTube video about this. And on the YouTube video, I show you, and the YouTube video is a direct video from the course. I literally pulled it from the course, put an intro, and then put a conclusion on it. And that's basically it. So that video is actually directly from the course. And basically all you do is call. And when they start asking where you're getting your items from, you just start saying wholesale suppliers. I mean, I would even go as far nowadays with trying to get a wholesale contract. And that's one of the updates we're going to be putting inside of the course, is teaching our students, the easiest, cheapest way to get one of those, a wholesale dropshipping contract, or just a wholesale contract in general. That's going to really protect you if eBay starts asking questions, and you can provide some legitimacy to it. And from there, it doesn't really matter as long as you run your store manually. I've yet to see anybody get flagged, even though everybody thought they were getting flagged this week because there was a glitch in eBay's promoted listings. I'll show you guys that. I had the same drop on this brand new account that everybody else did. And then all of a sudden it just randomly spikes back up to regular. So, I mean, it is what it is. eBay's not a perfect system whatsoever, but you just roll with the punches. If everybody's getting the same exact drop, I mean, you got to think at some point that it is just a mistake, which is what happened today. So I can actually show that. So we got Matt Parker here. Zoe says that they're interested. I'm guessing that's in the item sourcing for us. Service. That's very cool. I mean, we're trying to take on probably like 10 people next week or in the week after that, and then from there, there'll be the test group. We'll see how it goes, and then hopefully, get some great feedback, and then just build up from there. I don't want to put it out to the public right away to a bunch of people, have a bunch of mistakes or errors going on, or, just some unexpected things arise that we didn't realize would happen. And then, just have way too many people out their money or something like that. I don't want to do anything like that. I want to provide a good service for you guys where you're getting more than your money's worth for what you're paying. So, I called eBay like 3 times in one day. I thought I was flagged too. Yeah, see, everybody thought they were flagged. That's pretty funny. Happened to me on the 28th. So even if you connected your eBay account with SkewGrid's API, you do not connect. Everything I teach is not using SkewGrid's API. There's 4 different ways SkewGrid reprices your items, 2 of which don't use the API and 2 of which do use the API. You do not want to be using the other 2 that do use the API. That's the I forget. They make you a website. I forget what it's called. Don't do that one. Through like WooCommerce website. Don't do that one. And there's another one through like eCom Syndicator and all those other ones. Don't do that. You want to be either doing it the very manual way, which I highly suggest not to do because that takes a lot of time and effort, or just do the Chrome extension because the Chrome extension is pretty easy. It's pretty much automated. You just need to make sure your account's online, which is, I guess an issue for some people. But if you have virtual assistants, they can be using the same Chrome extension. So at night when you're sleeping, your items are still getting repriced because they're online. Other than that, if you start using more obscure suppliers other than Amazon and Walmart, your items don't reprice very frequently, and they don't change prices or go out of stock that frequently. So the chances that somebody buys an item from you that's out of stock is actually a lot slimmer than what it would be. So that's pretty much what I've been teaching. And that's been working for us. So that's what I suggest, Ape Mode. And Matt Parker says, I missed the first part, but I'm interested in anything you're doing. I appreciate it. Thank you, Matt. I hope your store is doing well. Joey Gall says, killing the manual dropshipping game, my man. Always dropshipping knowledge bombs. Appreciate it. Thank you very much, Joey. And Mark says, let's have a call with me, you, and Dropship Tyler. I think Dropship Tyler just fell off the face of the earth. I don't know what he's been doing lately, but I'm not against it. I mean, we can do it. And 8 Mode says, so if I'm doing the file exchange through SkewGrid, which I believe is the manual method, yes, I don't actually have to connect the API. No, that's the whole point. The file exchange is not the API. It's different. And the way SkewGrid does it is magic through their little Chrome extension that you just have to set up properly. So I do want to share my my screen for a bit, show you guys the most recent updates with my brand new store. We got 30 people watching right now. If you do like this content, before I show you my store, please hit the like button. I sometimes I forget to ask, we got a lurker on here who already admitted they were a lurker. Who was that again? Jeremiah. The least you could do is at least toss a like, maybe a subscribe, but either way, it's fine. You can keep lurking. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get into this. So here we go. Share. I'm going to minimize this. So here's the inside of my brand new account. Like I said, it was 126 items, but I did list 1 extra item today because one of the buyers of my items wanted to actually buy a different one. So I actually listed it. I almost never do something like that, but I was just, it was just something that came up. I felt generous, so I listed the item for the guy. Right here, you can see it's $11,577.88. And today I've done $1,005.17 profit. I mean, not profit, in sales. It's up and down. Some people, don't only get one sale one day and get 5 the next day and get all worried. You have to realize that you're not going to sell every single item every single day. You really have to be just weary that things ebb and flow in this business. It's people buying things on the internet. Not all of your items are going to be seen. Some of them are going to get pushed to the bottom. Maybe some people are going to start sniping your items. That's why I suggest to not constantly be listing nowadays, but also be listing, a decent amount. You can list 5 items a day. If you have a VA, it's a lot easier to do. But, if you're doing it by hand, you don't have to worry about it. Just stay consistent with your listing so you constantly have fresh items coming to the top of the feed, because eventually some fall, some you're going to take off, some never sell, some people undercut you. It's a constant battle. So 127 items, as you can see right here. I finally started getting some feedback building up. So I got 5 positive feedback. I'm killing the game. And anybody out there that says you can't make sales without feedback, here's proof. I legitimately just listed items on a brand new account with 0 feedback. And this account now has 5 feedback. So it's really not very many feedback. There's no issues. I've been making sales since pretty much the beginning. And this is when I only had about 10 items listed on the account. I think I listed my first item on like the 7th, but the sales started on the 10th. And then once I started listing more items, it stayed pretty consistent. So that's pretty much that for the inside of my store. I got 4 waiting to ship out. Like I said, it's inching up on 12,000. I want to hit 15,000 in sales for the first 30 days. There's no real issues with growing too fast. I believe as long as you're keeping good customer service, you're not having anybody complain about your items, and you're not, getting any cases or anything opened up. I've canceled 3 orders or 2 orders. One was definitely my fault. Another one was, the item showed in stock on the supplier's website that I'm using. And I'm not using Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot to reiterate again, but it did show in stock on the website, but supposedly they were out of stock. I don't know. I didn't put it out of stock manually by myself on my own fast enough, and that led to another sale of it. So I would say only out of all of those 3 cancellations, 2 of them should have been prevented. So that's my fault, but still everything's been fine. We'll go into the promoted listings, which I have brought up over here. So I have been doing what I would consider a decently aggressive promoted listing strategy, which is still 3%. I'm going to keep it at 3% until I get more items up, but I have 148 extra items that are in the drafts. So literally the drafts are all just items that are waiting to be listed that I've had my VAs put in there, but I didn't want to list yet because I, had to raise my limits again, which I did do the other day, which I forgot to show. Here's the limits. So the limits are 390 limits for the items. And I don't think eBay is actually calculating these numbers properly. So I'm just going to keep rolling with it. And, $25,000 limit. So I started at 10 items, $1,000, and I've gotten a raise about 4 times. I haven't been super aggressive about it because I don't really care to be. It's really just more of an experiment of if I can keep getting them raised. And every single time I've gotten a limit raised, they always tell me, oh, don't call back again for another 30 days because you can only get your limits raised every 30 days. And then here I am again getting it raised 4 times in literally 3 weeks. So it does not matter. Anything that you guys think about people not buying from you with 0 feedback, or you starting a brand new account and, not being able to get your limits raised or anything, it's all limiting beliefs, and it's all just you lying to yourself to give yourself an excuse to not take action. You have to be taking action. You have to be taking consistent action. So you can see here, literally more than half of my sales have come from promoted listings. And as I said, I've listed a pretty aggressive promoted listing strategy. So I did list the first item on May 6th, but I think I didn't start really listing until around here. And then this was, when I listed the majority of my items. So, these are clicks. So even when there was a drop in impressions, like people were talking about, see, there was this random drop that a lot of people also saw. And, the next day it's back up, and now it's, that was almost the highest they had ever had was yesterday in impressions. I do strongly believe that most people saw this drop and then saw this rebound. So it was just a mistake or an error on eBay's side. You can tell obviously from, anything, if you've been in the game for any amount of time, that they do not run a perfect system here, and you can't expect them to. It's like, even if they are, even if they could run a better system, it's never going to be perfect. So here's the amount of impressions I have. Here's the amount of clicks, but you can tell the clicks never really fluctuated. If anything, they kind of went up over time, a little bit of an upward curve. So 101 clicks, that's the highest I ever had, was yesterday, highest by 1. So yesterday, I mean, obviously the flag's not real. And of course, today's not over yet. So we're at 59 clicks on the day. But by the end of the day, I expect to be, up to around 100 again. So out of all the ad fees, this is 3%, I do believe. So 3% of this, or I think so. I mean, we can do the math over here. So 6,504 times and 70 cents times 0.03 equals 195.14. I paid 195.20. So it's 3%. So 3% is what I've kept all my promoted listing fees at, just to get initial sales off the bat and to keep my, my items at the top for as long as possible, get as many sales on them, make them very high quality listings, and then eventually be able to scale back on the promoted listings in month 2, 3, 4 from there. So here's the profit sheet I have laid out. And because of the promoted listing fees, there is a little bit less. It's less than 10% profit, but I've been running an aggressive campaign. Like I've said, I haven't really been having that many items listed. And I also haven't listed any items from Amazon, Walmart, or Home Depot. So the profit percentages here, I mean, range anywhere between 26% was the highest, which I did show on the last live. We got 10% here. They're averaging around 8, 9, 10%. This one was a cancellation. This was a canceled order. This was a canceled order. This, the buyer actually asked to cancel, I believe, or one of them, the buyer asked to cancel. Might have been this one. It was this one, I believe. So I canceled 3, like I said, 1, 2, 3. And this one, the buyer asked to cancel. From here, a 14% margin, $38 profit. This was a 17% margin, $58 profit. From here, I mean, what else? A $12% profit. Almost 15% profit. Right here was a 14% profit on an almost $500 item. And we made $69.40 on that listing. Right here, like, I said, nothing's perfect in this business. You need to roll with your punches. If I didn't have credit card cash back on this order, I actually would have gone negative because of the shipping charges. But I do believe my virtual assistant actually messed up this order. So, this one was a 0.31% profit. Like I said, not everything is going to work perfectly. And I'm here to admit that I too even make mistakes on my account. So this was almost, it's $934 total front end profit after the promoted listing fees is of almost $200, $95.20. As you see right here, it ends up being $739.43. So that's about it. For the listing, or for this, for the breakdown of this. And I'm going to go back to showing my face, and we can, go over the questions for the rest of this live. And I'm sure there will be a decent amount of them. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to bring back up myself, and let's answer some questions that were asked from when I was gone. So where are we? Matt Parker says, we just made our first multiple sale of 5 items. That's pretty damn good, man. I mean, that, you love it when you always get a sale like that, especially if you're using a supplier that actually does charge for shipping. So usually when a supplier does charge for shipping, some of the more obscure suppliers that are inside of the course, Matt, if you have a sale of 5 items, sometimes the shipping charges don't really go up, and you can save a bunch on that, of profit, make a bunch more extra profit because they're bundling all the items into one box and shipping it for the same price they would if it was just one item. So that's one thing to actually look into. From here, 8 Mode says he subscribed and liked. I appreciate it, 8 Mode. Thank you very much. El Mustafa says eBay. All right. Yes, we are talking about eBay. So Matt Parker says sold out. I had a quantity of 5. Yeah, dude, just list it back up. I mean, worst comes to worst, you sell 5 more or 1 more. I mean, it's awesome when it happens for the first time. Doyen says hi. How's it going, Doyen? Nice seeing you again, or talking with you again. Long time no talk. I'm gonna take a sip of water here. Christian says, what's your minimum profit percentage on items added to your store before promoted listing fees? At the moment, it's 8. I believe it's 8% or 9%, or maybe 10%. It might be 8%. I think it's 8% at the moment. There's really no reason to go any lower than that. Even if there's people out there selling items lower, you need to realize that there's still a huge percentage of people that have not moved over to manual eBay dropshipping yet. They're still trying to sell on these flagged accounts. And I was looking at some of the items my VAs had sourced for the item sourcing sheet, the item sourcing service. I was looking through some of the items, and like the item that they sourced was one of the higher prices, and it had sold more often than another item that was like $10 lower than it. That's because that person's flagged. there's going to be a bunch of people still trying to sell with these flagged accounts. And you have to realize that you're still going to make sales over them. They are not going to be making sales. Anybody that's trying to say, lower your profits to just about nothing, use discount and gift cards, and you'll make sales. Sure, you'll make some sales, but a percentage of items that you have to the amount that sell, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. I have 127 items on this account right now, and I'm doing 12,000 in sales with a decently respectable profit margin. And next month, it's only going to be better. I have double the amount of items, or more than, I have 150 more items waiting in the drafts to list. And I mean, that's literally 250 items. And I'm probably going to be doing 25, 30,000 the next month and a half. So you cannot really go wrong with the manual dropshipping method, but you have to realize that don't worry about if there's people that have lower prices than you. Like, it does not matter. I mean, if they have, one thing to check also is if they have lower prices than you, check their feedback. If they have very, very, very high feedback, then it probably means that they've been doing the Amazon onto eBay automated stuff like that. And there's a good chance they're probably flagged, because the more feedback they have probably means that they're an older account. They've been around for a while. They didn't start a brand new account to start doing manual eBay dropshipping. And there's a good chance that you'll still be able to sell over them. You might as well list these items. There's no reason not to list these items. The worst that happens is it doesn't sell and you take it down later. I mean, I've proven that you can get your listing limits raised 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in 1 month. So why not list these items? Don't hold yourself back. Jameson Griffith says, how do you change to multiple locations in eBay settings? This seems to be a common problem or some form of issue. We had a student in the group talking about this earlier today. And basically what happens is you go into your listing, you go to edit your listing, and I mean, you can do it when you're creating the listing as well. And it asks for item location. It's right under item weight, and right under item weight goes item location. And then it says promoted listing fee. Now it asked what promoted listing fee you want. So that's where the item location section is. And that's where I always just type in multiple locations, and that's it. I mean, multiple locations, United States. I've seen people use multiple warehouses, United States, or multiple warehouse locations. It doesn't really matter. I prefer multiple locations. It's just what everybody else uses, or the majority of what everybody else uses. But some of our students have said that they've had issues with it. But the one that just said that they had an issue with it just messaged me and said that he figured it out. I'm not sure what he did to figure it out, because I just came on this live. But I mean, that's pretty much it. You just have to just list as multiple locations. It's pretty easy. And if you can't figure it out, I mean, just ask in a Facebook group. I'm sure people will be able to help you out here. So where was I? All right. So Jess Well says, how much profit? I just showed that. So it's at around $750 almost profit. And that doesn't calculate in one of the bigger sales I just had. I just had a $600 order, 2 items that were $300 each that sold in one order. So I'm sure it'll probably hit with that item. As long as all goes well, that'll hit over $750 in profit. And this is literally 3 weeks of sales with 126 items, not Amazon, not Walmart, and not Home Depot. I'm just trying to do this to prove to you guys that you can do this too. It's really not as hard as people are making it out to be. All you need is items. And if you can't find items, then, we are coming out with an item sourcing service for you guys. But at the moment, we are only going to be providing Walmart items for those people that are doing the sourcing service, just to let you guys know that. At 8%, Christian says, at 8%, any idea how many items you're listing and sourcing per hour? Dude, I have no clue. I literally could care less about that. I mean, just get items up there. It's 126 items is what's on there right now. If you can find 5 items in a day for 30 days a week, for 30 days a month, you have 150 items. In 1 month, you hit that amount. Sure, my virtual assistants did find them extremely fast, and I'm fairly positive you can find more than that. I'm not checking the other people's profits. I'm listing at my own profits. I'm listing at an 8 or 10% whatever front end profit. I'm not looking at what the competitors are listing at. I could care less. No, it's not that the lowest item always sells. It's not that the highest item never sells. I sold an item on Amazon the other day for $60 higher than the lowest person out there, and I have no clue why. But I sold it, and I made like a $58 profit or something crazy on it. Or I don't even know. It was a wild profit on a pretty low priced item. I don't know why anybody bought it. There's going to be people buying things. 1 or 2 percentage points Then you can, from there, you can optimize your listing, make your title better, make your image better, your number one image better, make your SEO better, your item description, your details, anything in there that you can make better than your competition, then you might as well do it. I mean, it's too analytical to be thinking about how many items per hour you're sourcing. I mean, it's not like a big factory here. We're not trying to just pump out items on items on items on items on items. Just like if you find 5 a day for a month, you'll have enough. Jameson Griffith says, oh, that was how do you change to multiple locations? How about your VAs? Curious of what expectations I should set forth. Right now, they're doing 10 within 4 hours. Honestly, that's fine. I mean, as long as it's 10 good items, I could care less. I mean, I don't really pay my VAs based off how many items they source because I believe that puts too much stress on them. If you run them for a month and, you know, you give them a certain amount of money, say $250, $280, $300 a month, whatever you're paying them. And if you think that you got $300 a month worth of work out of them, then why not? Like, if you're putting too much pressure on them, if you're forcing them to find a certain amount of items per hour or items per day, because then they're just going to fudge their numbers. They're going to lie to you. They're going to put up bullshit items that they don't care about. They're not putting good time and effort into sourcing these items. They're going to be literally just trying to hit that quota because you're forcing them to do so. I don't think that that's the best way to run a business, especially with online virtual assistants where you've never met these people. They don't really speak your language. You know, they have literally terrible internet speed. You also have to think about that. If I had to use their internet every day, I would throw my computer out the window. Like, there's so many other factors to this as to why you should not be putting just like, oh, you have to source this many items per hour. It should not be done that way. And I really don't think anybody should be running their business that way. So Doyen says, how much profit? I just went over that. Brian Henrings, I don't know there's an X in there, man. I don't know what's up with that. I've done $1,300 in sales in my new manual store in 2 weeks. That's pretty good, man. I mean, just keep listing. You're gonna get your sales up. Find better items. Find more items, and you'll be good to go. I mean, not everybody has the power of virtual assistants or well trained over the last 2 year virtual assistants that I have. So I can pump out numbers pretty high, pretty quickly, pretty consistently. Well, I mean, I believe 1,300 is pretty good, man. So keep it up, Brian. Keep giving it hell. Jess Wells says, do you think it's all right for me to use Amazon as a supplier? I highly, highly, highly suggest not to use Amazon as a supplier. I really do not think that you should. I've seen way too many people that are using it manually or not manually hit me up and say, oh, got the MC011, got the MC011. Sure, there could be other mistakes in there, but you can tell that eBay is highly targeting, if anything, Amazon onto eBay. So why not just go elsewhere? I mean, I've seen people killing it with Walmart onto eBay, and I've seen people doing well with Home Depot onto eBay. You do not have to be using Amazon, Walmart, or Home Depot. I'm not using them on this store. None of my items are from those 3 suppliers, and I'm still doing just fine. And I can guarantee you that eBay's not looking at the supplier I'm using. If they're going to go on a witch hunt on specific suppliers, like, they're going to definitely target Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot, probably a few others. They're not going to be targeting some of the obscure suppliers that I talk about inside of my course, or some of the ones that I'm using myself personally. They're not going to. I can guarantee you that. They're going to have to find you drop shipping from other ways. So where am I? So Christian says, again, curious how many listings and sourcing VAs you have working on this account. Honestly, I don't even know. I think it was 3, but I just kept them around because I want them for the sourcing service later. So I really didn't need 3 working on the account, but I had them, and we've been using them over the past like 5-6 months on various tasks and everything. So I just decided to keep them around. They helped me a lot when I was getting my, it was 3 sourcing and listing VAs. And then there's one that does the orders, but they helped me a lot when I first got started with manual eBay dropshipping to list a bunch of items from a bunch of different suppliers all at once, so I could test all these different suppliers as quickly as possible and figure out which ones to put and not put inside of the course. So that really helped me out. From then, you know, it's been 2 months where I haven't really needed that many virtual assistants, but they're great workers, and why not keep them around? So I've kept them around. I had them list all the items for this account. They did this in literally like 5 days, I believe, 4 days. And then, you know, we're keeping them around for the item sourcing service. So, you know, if you have a good VA and you've put your time into training them, sure, you might not need them that month or, you know, maybe that 2 months. But if you have the capital, I highly suggest keeping them around just because of the fact that you've put your time and effort into training them. And that's time that you don't want to be putting into other people. You know, like you might as well keep them around if they're good workers and then just repurpose them later on some other task. So that's what I suggest about that. So Brian says, did sales drop for anyone this past week? I mean, my sales have been decently consistent. And no BS dropshipping. Just Mark says, just snipe their shit. Yeah, just snipe anybody. Honestly, go like literally no holds barred. I mean, honestly, I don't know who I'm sniping from. I could be sniping from my students. I could not be sniping from my students. It's like it's war out there. You need to be the one on top of the mountain. Really, is what it is. Joe Cox is here. How's it going, Joe? Let me know what your sales are at in the comments if you care to share. I would like to hear it. I'm sure everybody else would too as well. And Mark says, and raise the price. So Highland Sartor says, I have 60 items on my store and did over 4K in my first month. That's awesome. That's great. That's great. Just numbers for how many items you have. My VAs were sourcing from, I was looking at the sourcing sheet that my VAs created the other day, and they actually found somebody that had 110 or 101 items on their account. I forget. And they were doing like 33,000 a month, all from Walmart, I believe. And their profit margins were like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17%. It was pretty wild. They were doing extreme numbers for, the amount of items they had. So it was a highly curated store. And it goes to show you do not need this many, this many items in order to really make sales. So, how many sales were you making daily before you got VAs? I never didn't have VAs on this account. So I don't have an actual answer to that question. I am a large advocate of virtual assistants. And if you don't think that you need virtual assistants, you're lying to yourself. That's a given. If you don't think that you need people or want people or need, literally you need it. You need people to be running your store and doing the daily minutia and tasks that nobody wants to do. Because if you're in your store, you're sourcing your items, you're doing your customer service, and you're doing all of this stuff daily, you literally have just a job. You don't have a business. You're not running a business. You literally just quit your job, or maybe you still have your job. Say you quit your job, you're 9 to 5. You went on the big dream of doing eBay dropshipping or any form of online dropshipping, but you're doing it all day, every day by yourself. Then you literally just traded your job for another job. Yeah, sure. You don't have a boss. You are your own boss, but you're trapped by your own business. So you need to look into outsourcing. You need to look into virtual assistants. You don't have to hire them full time if you don't have the capital to do so right away. It does not matter. You really can it's very flexible. And I don't see enough people actually taking the leap of faith into doing it. And I don't understand why not, because you are not going to run a very efficient, effective, and fast scaling business without them, without help at least. So how many sales? All right. So Jess Wells says, where do you find these obscure suppliers? I have your course, but to be honest, I didn't want to use the suppliers you gave. So how do you find it? Literally inside of the course, I teach how to find other obscure suppliers. I believe it was 10 inside of the course, and I have 10 more that are coming up right now. I find them all from SKUGrid, which is how I teach it inside of the course. So you must have honestly just missed that video. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't want to use the suppliers, but I mean, you can go out and find your own suppliers. Jess. So Hidden Black Beauty says it's a trick. I'm not sure what that was in relation to. So Joe Cox Dropshipping says, Tom, I completely agree. I don't care what other sellers are selling it for. That's very true. And Joe, I'm not going to lie. I've already found your store again. So I do see what you're selling, and you're selling a lot of items for high profit margins, and you're doing very well. So, I mean, just keep it. I mean, you gotta realize that, like I said, if you're unflagged, then your items are going to show up higher than other people's items, even if they are priced lower. You have to realize that is going to happen. So 8 Mode says, can you explain a little bit more about how you got multiple limit increases in a month? Did you keep calling them? Yes, you have to keep calling them. Every time you call, you need to, that's how you get a limit increase. Literally, you call them, you ask for a limit increase, which I have an eBay, a YouTube video on, and that it's the same video from inside of the course, like I said. After that, guess what you do? You wait a couple days, you max out your limits, and you just call them again. Do the same exact thing. Literally the same exact thing. And they're going to ask a few more questions. Just answer it the way that I answer inside of the course or inside of that YouTube video, and then just call again in in a week or a couple days, and you max out your limits again. That's all it is. You just have to keep calling. You have to keep calling, and and you have to keep going. Be persistent. The people that aren't persistent are the pushovers, and eBay will take advantage of you if you are a pushover. If they if they think that you're not experienced enough to ask for another limit raise, they're not going to say, hey, do you want a limit raise? But if you're experienced enough to ask for a limit raise and be able to reason with them and say the right reasons as to why you want a limit raise, then they know that you're experienced and they're more willing to give you a limit raise over somebody that just has no idea what they're doing. It makes perfect sense. They don't want to be giving these beginners all these crazy limit raises that have no idea what's going on. Then they just ruin their account, ruin the eBay community, ruin somebody's day because they ruin the customer service for them because they sold way too many items too quickly. This is why people are getting hit with these MC011s. People aren't paying attention to their store. They're trying to grow too quickly, and they're really just not giving an all-around good customer just satisfaction or customer experience. And that's the reason why there's multiple issues and why eBay tells you to call back every 30 days. Because if you get your limits raised, you list more items and you handle it very well, then in the next 30 days, you can call back in or automatically get them raised again in 30 days. But if you know what you're doing and you keep your account in good standing and you ask the right questions and you answer the proper questions, then, eBay's going to realize and be more likely to raise your limits that way. So Lazy Abram says quality over quantity. That is exactly true. To a certain degree, I wouldn't say just like try to find the best ever items out there nonstop. I mean, I'm still a proponent of listing a decent amount at once, wait out for, a 30-day period. And if they don't have any watchers or sales or whatever, just ask them. That's what I think is a better policy. I don't think you should be, highly, just like extremely picky. But as long as you're under 1,000 items, I believe that, you should be fine. Change your voice when you call. I don't know what you're talking about. So Christian says, so mind sharing your new compensation plan. Now, I do not have a compensation plan, Christian. You've asked the same question 4 times. I just give them money. Okay. They list items. I think it's good enough. I give them $280 a month. That's it. That's what I do. TBS tracking with eBay is not trackable. What is TBS? I don't know what you're talking about. Did you ever move your items from your flag store to your manual store? No, because the items from my flag store were all Amazon items, and I no longer sell any Amazon onto eBay. So there's really no point. There was some Walmart items. You can easily do it. I don't know. I mean, I just didn't do that. What I really wanted to do when I first started my manual store was test out suppliers that weren't Amazon, Walmart, and Home Depot, which I did do for, the first 4 months of this endeavor. And then after that, I really just wanted to lock down on suppliers that I thought were good and also just run more experiments. I'm really in it more for the experiments and providing you guys as much quality information as possible and trying to just move this forward, this whole entire manual drop shipping thing forward. And I think me just relisting Walmart items from my old accounts onto my new accounts really doesn't prove anything. It just proves that a manual store can still sell items, which is a given anyways. So I don't think that really helps, move forward this whole entire business model. So I'm not, there's no point in me doing so, but I don't see why you couldn't. I'm just not going to do it personally. Gail is here. How's it going, Gail? Nice to see you on the live. Thank you very much for showing up. I hope the weather there is nice. I'm actually going to Puerto Rico in 2 weeks. So we'll be, like an island or 2 away, and I'll be there for probably a week or so. So stay tuned for some tropical videos to come. Christian says, yep, no reason to end relationships on bad notes. This is about the VAs. Always leave the door open for another time. Hey, can I reach out to you for some? Okay. Where are we? Kareem says $4,514.70 in sales for May with 114 items. That is very specific, Kareem, and I like it. Thank you. That is awesome. Keep up the good work, and you are killing it. So my internet son and my internet grandson is here. Love you both. That's funny. Does each VA work on a different account? No. I mean, my VAs for eBay usually primarily work on eBay. The only one that works, I mean, I have 2 that work on Amazon and eBay. One does the orders on Amazon and on eBay for me, and then the other one does the customer service on Amazon and eBay for me. But for Amazon, I have an Amazon item sourcer that I hired probably back in September, I believe. And then for eBay, I have my eBay item sourcers, which are going to be more pushed over to the actual item sourcing service that we're trying to put out and, really get them working, to their utmost ability on that. So Ape Mode says, what are your thoughts on making titles? Is it better just to copy the title of the seller who is making a lot of sales, or can you make your own titles and still be competitive? Honestly, somebody had to make this title to begin with. Somebody went out there and made the title. So I don't see why making titles wouldn't help you be competitive. But I personally don't think it's the best spending of your time. It takes a little bit of time to make a title. If you want to completely diversify yourself, yes, you can go out and make your own title. But I personally instruct my virtual assistants to copy the title as long, or verbatim, like word for word, copy the title, as long as it's not one of the, as long as they're not lying or keyword spamming in the title. So I did run into this issue the other day where it was an item that was supposed to have an attachment on it, and that attachment was supposed to cost an extra 60 something dollars, and then the VA listed it with the attachment, or saying it had the attachment but it doesn't, and it didn't actually sell, but I caught it beforehand. But if it did sell, then I would have been out some money, because I would have had to either give them a refund or a return, or just send them that extra bit of item that they were missing, because, just to make sure that they were a satisfied customer. Either way, it's not worthwhile. But you want to make sure your titles are very accurate. Make sure somebody's not lying in the title about what the item is. I've seen it happen with like different type of metals, if it's a stainless steel, or if it's just like a metal pan and somebody says stainless steel because it makes it seem more valuable, but it's actually not. You're going to have an upset customer about that. And that's really that's what you want to avoid. But I still have them copy titles as long as the title is accurate. Susan says, I assume you are listing high cost items. That is very true. I don't know what the average item cost is, but I just sold a $600. I'm at $1,000 in sales today with literally 3 items sold. So yes, they are pretty high cost. Matt Parker says, I want my VAs to be smart, attractive women. There you go. You might as well. I really don't care about how mine look, but as long as they get the job done, that's all I really care about. Jeremiah says, are you pulling images from the web? I've been sniping in, adding my own photos. eBay restricted my account due to professional photos being taken, not personal photos via personal creativity. That sounds pretty in-depth. I don't know why eBay would ban you for that. I've seen people get some Vero violations, but really, I personally have gotten like one, I believe, for images or whatever. I really don't think that that's an issue. I don't know how was it a restricted, Jeremiah, or was it completely banned? I've seen, if you have a bunch of Vero violations added up and then you do get one for like an image, then yes, you might get restricted because you've already had more built up. So, I don't have the whole story to that, but I am just pulling the images from the web. Sometimes I alter the image a bit. Sometimes I add some stuff to it. Go look around when you're sniping items. You'll see other people doing the same thing. It's not that hard to understand what other people are doing with the images that way. So Christian says, but Tom, what is it? I don't even know. So Forever Noob said, I like that name. Says, which VA website are you using? Upwork, Online Jobs, or something else? Honestly, I've used them all. And I think each one has their own place for specific, goals and what you're trying to do. If you want a VA that's going to source items for you, is going to be very moldable and very easy to, just teach them something from scratch and them not have like a prior opinion on it. That's where I like to go to onlinejobs.ph, because if I'm teaching somebody how to do item sourcing and they're like, oh, well, my boss already taught me how to do item sourcing, or I already know how to do item sourcing, I'm going to do it my way. I don't want that. I want them doing it my way, because that's what I'm paying them for. So Online Jobs is definitely where you're going to find a more moldable virtual assistant, somebody that you can kind of, just really mold into what you want and eventually turn them into whatever position you want. And also, if you guys want to learn more about virtual assistants, I have a literal, I believe it's $149 virtual assistant course in the description below. It's over 4 hours long. So if you guys are really interested in outsourcing, you should check that out. So besides onlinejobs.ph, Upwork, I think I use more for like marketing help and stuff like that. I don't use that for virtual assistants to run my businesses. We hire people for marketing type tasks like that through Upwork. And I believe that Upwork is where you're going to find a very specialized and skilled employee, and they're not necessarily going to be very cheap. So that's where you're going to be spending a little bit more money, but you're going to be getting quality for doing so. Same thing with Fiverr. Fiverr I like to use for if I outsource my YouTube thumbnails or any type of graphic design. That's where I usually go to Fiverr for it, because I found some pretty good work from Fiverr. It's very easy to get a gig in and out. You do, oh, I want this. They give you that within like a day. Where on Upwork, there's kind of a hiring process. Same thing with onlinejobs.ph. And besides that, I've had people reach out to me on Facebook as well. And, the Facebook groups, I wouldn't suggest, just going right out and trusting anybody that's talking in these Facebook groups or promoting themselves. But I have hired 2 people off messaging me from Facebook. So it does work. But I wouldn't say it's the best technique to go about things. Susan says, do your suppliers have later delivery than Amazon or Walmart? My supplier is quicker than Walmart almost every single time. And they're inside of the course that I teach. They're very fast. They're extremely fast, like 1-day handling. Usually the only issue I've actually ever had with this supplier is that like people have gotten upset because they asked to cancel the order like 3 hours after they put in the order, and my virtual assistant's already ordered it at our supplier's website and they've already shipped it, and you can't even cancel it. Literally the only issue I've ever had is that they process orders too quickly. It's faster than Walmart. Sometimes it's just as fast as Amazon. And that's really what I love about them. You can probably get top rated plus with using them. So account is unrestricted now and sales and impressions are up. So yeah, your account's back, Jeremiah. 8 Mode says, so will you copy the title of another seller even though the other seller is selling at a lower price? Yes, I don't care. I really don't care. Some people don't promote their listings. You promote your listings. You can change your image. You can change. The way that I teach inside of the course, your listing's gonna be better than anybody else's because you're gonna be putting so much more information inside of your listing that you're gonna be discovered a lot easier. I can guarantee you that. So it's not just the title. It's not just the price. There's other things. You got to make sure you have a very accurate handling time. Some people don't like to, mess with their handling time or their shipping time. That stuff really matters. If you can really like suck everything out of that. Make sure that you know that your supplier can get the item at this point in time almost every single time, and then make sure that you're optimizing that for every single item. Each supplier is going to be different. So that's why I have different shipping policies for every single different supplier. It is kind of a pain, but the more effort and the more time and little things like that you tweak, the bigger advantage you're going to get in the long run. And I can guarantee you there's a lot of other tricks that you don't even know about that are also inside of the course. So check that out. Where was it? So Susan says again, sorry if I wasn't clear. Does each VA work on a different? No, all the VAs that work on eBay work on the same eBay accounts. They work on all of the eBay accounts. They're the eBay people. There's really no difference between the accounts. So you might as well just use them on the same thing. The ones that orders does all the ordering. The ones that do listing and sourcing do all the listing and sourcing. Hey, Tom, are you the industrial type of items? Hence, are they industrial type of items? Hence why they are high tech. Yeah, they are industrial. They're more business related. I really like the industrial and business types categories because of the fact that people that buy these industrial items are buying them for a purpose. It's not just the random person who goes out and, is just buying things on Amazon to test out 5 different things and then return 4 out of the 5, because that's what people do. It's what average consumers do nowadays. But businesses need things. Businesses say, hey, we need this. We will buy this. We need 10 of this. We're going to buy 10 of this. We don't care about the price and stuff like that. They don't return items very often. So that's what I like to, because I don't like to deal with stuff. Any little bit of bullshit that I can cut out of my business and my life, I'm going to. And that's one of the biggest things. Returns, customers, customer support, just problem customers. My VAs can do so much, but if there's a problem customer with a unique case that comes up all the time, I'm going to start getting upset or butthurt because I don't want to be dealing with it. And Susan says, what do you spend the most time on? Honestly, answering students' questions inside of the course. That's probably the number one thing I spend the most time on. Honestly, on my eBay businesses, I don't really spend that much time. My VAs have already been taught everything. And if anything, I spend the most time on research and development, finding new techniques for you guys, exploiting new techniques, trying out new techniques, teaching my virtual assistants these new things and techniques and trying them out, realizing which ones are the best and making new videos and stuff on it. And, it's really more experimentation at this point and answering all the students' questions. We just brought in like a whole new batch of students. So they're really the ones that I've been trying to answer all their questions. Been getting hit up DMs, private messages, Facebook group, everything. It's wild. So Jeremiah says, not Barrow. They just said that my images are not personal photos and they are pulled from the web. So it is causing a red flag. My item states listed from half.com or not my listing. Dude, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I've never heard of that ever happening. Just screenshot your photos, dude. They're never going to be able to realize if you screenshot it. Matt Parker said, Matt, what do you advertised on on Upwork for? I want to know. What do you do? Let me know. And then 8 Mode says, how do you change your photos, like customize it? There's this crazy tool called Canva. It's free. It's very easy. On a previous live chat, you mentioned that you might start a service where you provide hot items. Is that still in the works? Yes, earlier in this live, I was actually already mentioning this, and we've already got about it started like a week and a half ago. We've got about 100. I can check right now, actually. We got 100 and I'm not going to check. We have about 108 last I checked items sourced. So, I mean, it's just my VAs going through and the sourcing and sourcing and sourcing and sourcing. Basically the way it's going to work is that we're going to guarantee you a certain profit percentage. Right now, it's at least a 5% front end margin, but I've seen some of them get as high as 20, 22%. It's really just a random grab bag. But I'm guaranteeing you that it's no lower than 5% on the front end. And these are all Walmart items, so you can use your cashback credit cards and use your portals, and you'll probably hit 10% total on a margin that low. But I'm guaranteeing you that it will never be lower than that. You can list higher than that, but I'm just saying that the person that we sniped the item from is selling it for at least a 5% front end margin, which I believe is a decent cutoff point because it's very hard to find them very, 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 very specific ones at 10% or whatever. You can have a varying fluctuation of items. From there, we're going to guarantee, we don't know how many people are signing up and how many items we're going to get, but we're going to guarantee that everybody gets a unique list of their own items. But, some people there's going to be overlap of some items, but it's not like you get the same list that somebody else does. There's going to be a little bit of an overlap, but we're going to guarantee that no more than like 3 people get the same item, or this same item is not given to more than 3 or 4 or 5 people. We haven't decided that yet, because we don't know how many people we're going to have for this service. And then if we get a ton of people for this service, then we'll throw a lot more manpower behind it. But we are doing a test run of probably 10 people in the next week. And from there, right now, it's only Walmart. I highly suggest being tax exempt for Walmart for this service. If you're not tax exempt, it's going to be a little bit harder. But, I can teach you how to do that as well. And from there, I mean, it's all in the works. We're making the website right now. The whole entire the coding development part behind it, where where the items get pulled out of the sheet and get put into a little randomizer and does all this stuff. My buddy coded that all last night or 2 nights ago, and all the items have been being sourced for a little bit. So, I mean, you get access to all the items. You get the title, the item, and the profit percentage and everything like that, and just where it is on Walmart.com at the moment. So, if you are interested, keep your eyes peeled. There will probably be an announcement about it next week in some way, shape, or form in the Facebook group, on YouTube, probably both, Instagram, anything like that. So that's the breakdown of that. 8 Mode says, I'm not good at Photoshop. You don't have to be. Just use Canva. Might be taking that Upwork ad down. Transferring his money from eBay. Yeah, that's pretty much what I spend all my time doing. How much profit, Thomas? Dorian, please leave me alone. No, I'm just kidding. You already know the answer to that. So you do programming and web development. That's cool. We could use you possibly. And Susan says, thank you, Sensei. Sensei is someone who is knowledgeable, proficient, and experienced enough to competently instruct others. Great video as usual. Thank you very much. I prefer Sensei over the word guru. I feel like that word's been overused a lot lately, and I don't like to be ever called that. So please don't ever call me guru, anybody watching this. So we got 40 people watching right now. We got about 8 minutes left on this live. If you haven't liked this video already and you think I've given you enough value on this video to deserve one singular like out of you, then please do so. And if you think I gave you enough value and to subscribe, give me one singular subscribe, and you haven't already subscribed to me, then I would very much appreciate that as well. So, I'm going to answer up the last questions. Please get any of your last questions out here. I'll answer them all, and we got about 8 minutes to go. So Matt says, I got tax exempt at Walmart. Woo, there you go, man. I mean, Walmart, honestly, I don't use Walmart, but it really, if I wasn't working on experimenting and finding all sorts of new suppliers and doing all sorts of other crazy things out there, I would definitely just be exploiting Walmart onto eBay 100%. I've seen through sourcing for this, for making the course and through sourcing of just doing other things, I've found people that are selling the hell out of some of these Walmart items. All you have to do is differentiate yourself. There's so many different ways to do it. And the people that are doing it very well are absolutely killing it. I've seen people with 30, 35, 40,000 in sales, which is pretty damn good at way higher than 10% margins. I've seen some crazy margins out there that these people are getting. This is front end. There's also a lot of cash back with Walmart. 2% cashback card, and you're guaranteed probably an extra 2, 3, 4, 5%, depending on the category. So the people are killing it. I can guarantee you that that's the way to go. And that's why we picked out of Amazon, Walmart, and Home Depot. I wasn't going to do Amazon. Home Depot, I was like, man, I don't really like. So Walmart it is. And Walmart is really, really, really good for the beginner, for the intermediate. And as you start to get more advanced, you can start to move away from them, I would say. So, but you don't like Professor? Professor's not too bad either. I could take that. I like the college setting. I could take Professor. So Christian says, you're not going to provide any items from your obscure stores. If you have the course, so basically, I mean, this is a trial run in the service. If you have the course, then we are going to consider starting to think about other methods of, just different like tiers to this plan, where if you have the course, then we will give you items from the suppliers inside of the course. But if you don't have the course, no, we're not going to provide you items from suppliers inside of the course. I'm also adding 10 new suppliers to the course. So anybody that's inside of the course right now that's watching, be prepared. I do think that there's, some pretty good ones here. There's like one that I just forgot to leave out that some people definitely don't know about. There's some very obscure ones in there, and I hope you guys really enjoy it when I launch that. And probably next week, I'm waiting for SKUGrid to update this, but I think I might just launch without it because SKUGrid's taking too long. Ask for likes like Mark does. Ask for likes like any YouTuber does. Every single YouTuber asks for likes. I'm not going to start swearing on the channel because I've realized that people actually start to watch these lives and stuff with their kids and stuff in the room. And I don't want to like ruin any poor kids and like, just, I don't want to be that bad influence. Somebody else can. How many VAs do I have? I don't know. There's a lot of part-time people now that we hire out for specific work. I'd say total of like people that we have working for us consistently around 8, but there's anywhere between like 3, 4, 5 maybe extra people that get hired out for just specific tasks every once in a while, more type contract work. And that's really, I really want to start building a list of people like that because they're the go-to people for that specific thing that you need done, which I really enjoy. Love the advice. Thank you, Master Tom. Everybody's just giving me a different name now. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Internet Explorer. You got to change your name to Google Chrome or something, dude. Internet Explorer is out. It's outdated. Tom, what is your life goal in the e-commerce business? That's a very deep question for the last 4 minutes. Honestly, just build up to the point where I have a huge following of people doing very well. I don't want to ever be the person where I'm providing you guys like this fake value in order just to sell you a course and not have anybody seeing results from it. Like all those Shopify gurus out there and other things like that. I that's the number one thing I do not want to ever do. I want to provide you guys great value and also be the person that's doing, I forget what they were called. Somebody called it like a guru or something. It's somebody that's like a guru that's actually still doing it. I want to always stay that way. And I always want to provide you guys the most transparent, just information out there possible. I don't think there's anybody else out there that really shows the inside of their stores regularly or shows their profit percentages or their actual legitimate margins, or the fact that I do have to cancel orders sometimes, or the fact that sometimes I wouldn't make money on an order because something messed up. Either I messed up or my VA messed up, or I didn't realize this or that. Like I always want to provide transparent knowledge to you guys. And in the future, I mean, we're just going to keep growing it. And eventually, just see where it takes us. What are some of the ways to differentiate yourself? Ape mode. There's a bajillion different ways. You could bundle your items. You could do a multi-pack of your items. You could change the title. You could change the picture. You could do a variation listing. You could change your description. You can make your description better. You could fill out the item specifics better. I mean, you could change your handling time, shipping times, really optimize that. Your return policy. There's any single possible way out there you can do. I mean, you're just limiting yourself because you're not trying to think creatively enough. Subscribed and liked. Thanks for the info, bro. Thank you, Highland Sarter. Josh Bosworth says, hey, Professor, new to the course. Look forward to going through it. When's the 10 new sources coming in? So the 10 new sources, I mean, like I said, I plan to record all these videos on SKUGrid coming out. But I'm beta testing this new thing inside of SKUGrid that they have, like their bundle lister from SKU Fetch. I'm beta testing it right now. And they told me that it was supposed to be launched literally a week ago. And I wanted to wait until that came out to the public so I could make a video on it. And then you guys could all benefit from it. But they just seem to be taking way too long. So I'm going to have to just, just forego that. I already shot the video about suppliers. I shot the video about one other thing. So I'm going to shoot 2 more videos probably this weekend, and it'll come out mid next week. Don't hold me to exactly mid next week, but it'll be next week at some point, Josh. So I appreciate it. Thank you for waiting it out, and thank you. So Christian says, how many eBay stores are you running at the moment? Only 2 at the moment. I'm not working on just trying to get a bunch of stores out there. That's it. And Amazon, I really want to start working on building Amazon up and doing pretty much the same thing I'm doing on eBay with the more obscure suppliers on Amazon, because I feel like all anybody ever thinks is that you do Walmart onto Amazon and it's very low profit, and then the very low profit percentages you just make back with cash discounted gift cards. It's basically the same mentality of what people are trying to teach on eBay still. And I did the Walmart onto Amazon, and yes, it's very easy to do. And you can make money doing it. But again, it's just too many sales, too little of a profit margin. I don't want to go into that anymore for any type of business model I'm doing. So I stopped doing the Walmart onto Amazon. I have been using some of my obscure suppliers that I teach inside of my eBay course on Amazon, and that's been working well. I've been selling about like $1,000 a day on Amazon now, but the profit margin is a lot higher. I regularly hit like 13% margin on one of these items. And I really just want to start working on other suppliers, because some of these suppliers sell on eBay, so it's why use them on eBay, but they don't sell on Amazon, so you can use that supplier on Amazon. So I'm going to curate a good list of Amazon suppliers and really start to work towards that goal, because Amazon is definitely better over time for making a lot of sales. But if you are a beginner and you don't really know exactly how to run your dropshipping business like 100% to the T, then I never suggest going on to Amazon until you really have eBay figured out completely, or else you're going to get your account banned, screwed over in some way, shape, or form. So that's that. That was definitely an extremely long answer to that. Susan says, class act. I appreciate it. Hidden Black Beauty says, I love you more and more every time. Thank you so much. I love you as well. And Matt Parker says, appreciate you keeping it clean. My 12-year-old son is always hanging over my shoulder. See, I knew that there was people that watch this with their kids. So thank you guys very much. I hit the hour mark. So, that's pretty much that. One last question, Matt says, do you think fancy description templates help much? I do not think that fancy descriptions help that much, but there are other things you can do inside of your description to boost your sales, which I do want to talk about at some point in time. So I appreciate it. Are you going to add more obscure suppliers to the course? Yes, I just answered that. 10 more next week. So that's about it. Thank you guys very much. Please like and subscribe one last time if you haven't already. I appreciate it. Thank you guys very much. And I am signing off. I will see you next Friday, but look forward to at least 2 more videos next week. I hope to Monday and Wednesday as well. Thank you guys. Peace out.